Willkommen nach das Craftbeer Channel.
Das ist Oktoberfest!
Na, genug.
Nee, genug!
9 Jahre, 9 years, 9 years.
99, das Red Balloon.
Oh, this is how it's going to go. 9 years into the Craft Beer Channel, we've never sat down and drunk the 6 beers of Oktoberfest.
I've never sat down at Oktoberfest.
Well, I've done that multiple times and never invited you. However, I invited you to the studio where I managed to get hold of the elusive 6th beer.
Oh, that's the grey import, isn't it? Do you know how to get all of that?
It is also a souped up version of your favourite goddamn lager in the world.
Hells yeah!
So this is going to be a very exciting episode as we do CBC macht Oktoberfest. Sorry, Germany. Okay, stop that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the history of Oktoberfest.
Okay.
But with a beer in our glass.
Like it.
Okay, we're going to start with one of the beers that would have been served at the original Oktoberfest. Well, the breweries that would have been served at the original Oktoberfest, not the beers. This is Hacker-Pschorr's Oktoberfest Märzen. Tell me, what year was the first Oktoberfest, Bradley?
1810 or something like that?
Oh, he's done it. It's because I told him a couple of minutes ago. So, yeah, 1810 was the original Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest is the biggest Volksfestival in the world.
Yeah, man.
If you don't know what a Volksfestival is, it means a person's festival.
And why,
a folk festival.
Who was it a person to?
So originally it was a celebration of a wedding, Bradley.
Right, not just any wedding.
No, not a royal wedding.
A royal
of the
wedding.
soon-to-be king of Bavaria,
Wow.
Ludwig, and his lady wife, Therese.
Fraulein Therese.
Fraulein Therese. And
Beautiful.
in fact, the field on which, the giant amount of tarmac on which Oktoberfest is still held today is called Theresienwiese, which means like Teresa's Green.
That's love, isn't it?
Teresa Green. Yeah.
It's like naming a bit of tarmac after your missus. Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, what woman wouldn't want that? So before we dive into this delicious beer, there's one more thing we need to get straight about Oktoberfest.
Right.
Only 6 breweries can officially pour at Oktoberfest.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well,
they're very fastidious about rules, Johnny. The Germans.
They are, and so are these 6 big breweries.
Yeah.
I think mostly it's because they don't want people taking away their volume. Right. It's about 75,000 hectolitres of beer are drunk during the 2 weeks of Oktoberfest, which finishes in October, by the way, doesn't start.
Just in Munich?
Just in Munich. That's roughly... I mean, that's not far off the full independent output for the year of London in terms of craft brewing.
Mental.
And that's all consumed on a bit of tarmac, as we've kind of covered.
Couple of weeks, some fairground rides.
There you go. And you'll get through it. So these 6 breweries are the ones that are allowed to. They all draw their water from the groundwater that lies underneath Munich, which I think is the made-up law they made to make sure that nobody else could.
Right.
Because there are other breweries doing it, but they're not allowed in.
Yes.
So Hacker-Pschorr was pouring at the original, the 1810, the wedding. Up until the 50s, maybe the 60s, all of these beers would have been Märzens.
Yeah.
Märzens were beers that were brewed in March. März is German for March.
Okay.
It was the last brews of the season because they didn't brew in the summer because their beer would get infected. There was also quite a big fire risk in a hot Munich summer. So you were banned from April through to mid-September from brewing. So the Märzen was the last big, bold beer that was brewed, and they knew because it was big and it was bold, it would last till September, till the festivals, the harvest festivals all started.
So this is the last hurrah, this is the big one. They put everything into it.
Into this beer. And that means they can keep drinking through the summer. So that's what was drunk, because it's almost a harvest festival, you know, it was around that time. In fact, it was an agricultural fair for many decades in the 19th century, the Oktoberfest. So that's what we have here. Märzens aren't really drunk at Oktoberfest anymore.
No.
All the rest of them are just called Oktoberfest beers, which we'll dive into a bit, because this beer is a little bit different to the others.
Yeah.
So it's a dark amber.
It's dark, isn't it?
It's got lovely head retention.
Yeah.
What are you getting on the nose? We've eschewed our usual taster glasses because that just feels wrong to be drinking Oktoberfest beers from taster glasses.
Caramelly.
Caramelly. Brown bread crust.
Bready.
Yeah. Little hints of...
It's rich.
Citrusy, lemony freshness, but it's mostly about somebody spread dulce de leche on brown bread.
That's what it is, isn't it?
And we're loving it.
It's super indulgent brown bread.
Yeah, but as we're about to find out, you can drink a lot of them. Prost!
Prost! Oh, man.
It's lighter, it's brighter, it's crisper than you think it's going to be. Almost no bitterness.
No bitterness, no.
But it feels okay.
This is real crushable.
Yeah. I mean, often bitterness helps with drinkability, But I think when you're drinking the volumes that you do at Oktoberfest, it would start to get tiring. So there's just none. There's just no bitterness. It's just liquid brioche.
Nectar. And Hacker-Pschorr, over 600 years old.
Over 600 years old. I mean, they've been through lots of different guises. It was once Hacker and Pschorr, two separate breweries, brought together, merged, bought by Paulaner eventually, so they're sister brands now.
Got you.
But yeah, you know, one of the oldest breweries in Germany. An incredible heritage, has seen pandemics, financial crashes, world wars, smaller wars.
Still there.
Multiple buyouts, still there, still producing
600
beautiful
years.
beer.
Oh, just over 600 years old. Amazing.
And still they have one amazing tent, which is all blue, which is where I've been the 2 times that I've been. Really lovely vibe, a bit more family friendly, a bit more vibrant.
Okay, so I was going to say, how intense is the tent vibe?
The
family vibes.
It's very family, you know. That's
Who
what
takes
people.
their family to a beer festival, Johnny?
Well, that's the thing. It's not a beer festival. It's a folks festival.
Okay,
It's
so what else?
basically it's a fairground. It's a fairground with beer tents that fit 10,000 people. 10,000 people is the biggest one.
1,000 people in a tent.
Yeah, which I think is the Lowenbrau tent. I think that's the biggest one.
Bigger than a tent at Glastonbury, probably.
Oh, much bigger.
Much bigger.
Yeah. John Peel stage ain't got nothing. It looks like a football match, basically. It's like there's people. It feels like they're a mile away.
Yeah.
You can't see their faces. You can just hear the singing.
So this is where the sort of long drinking tables that we've all come to know, and they become quite ubiquitous worldwide down a sort of orange, long wooden planks.
That whole trestle table thing.
Yeah.
In Germany, they're exceptionally well made because they do genuinely dance on the tables.
Wow.
And everybody gets on the tables, right?
Whoa.
So they have to be strong.
Yes.
You know, if you want to get a trestle table, get a German-made one because they know what these things might be subjected to.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a full-on party gig, essentially, because at the centre of all of these are bands, Umpar bands or pop, traditional German bands playing popular music.
Yeah.
Which is
Robbie Williams.
All that
So
much
stuff,
Angels.
Right? Angels.
They have great taste in beer, but questionable taste in popular music.
Well, they know how to have a good time, Johnny. That's it.
I'm not sure Angels is a good time.
Well, it's like.
Well, I say that. Smash cut. When we're grey and old. Okay, so every 15, 20 minutes, maybe it's half an hour, but they seem to come around quick.
Yeah.
At Oktoberfest, a song is played by the band.
Right.
It goes, Ein Prosit.
Ein Prosit.
Gemütlichkeit. Ein Prosit. Ein Prosit. Gemütlichkeit.
I don't know what that means. What does it mean?
Gemütlichkeit is like, it's like, in English it would be like fellowship, cozy. It's a bit huggy, but it's more about the people.
Higgy.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, I thought you were going down Lord of the Rings sort of vibes then, when you said fellowship. But it's about sort of brotherhood or getting together, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like good living, good friends, good times, good food. It's it's trying to say the good life.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a celebration. I mean, the whole thing is a massive celebration, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's an excuse for a piss up, Johnny.
So you'll see this beer, this is the Paulaner, way brighter.
Way bright, yeah. That's more what I'm sort of used to.
So this is what's served now at Oktoberfest, a fest beer.
Beautiful.
And a fest beer, lighter, brighter, less of that caramel toast dulce de leche and more of...
Bready.
Honey and bread. It's honey on white bread, not dulce de leche on brown.
Yeah. 100%.
I want to go to this restaurant that's just
bread.
putting sweet stuff on bread.
Loads of bread.
Yeah.
All kind of bread stuff, man.
So these are pretty much turbocharged Helles.
Right, okay, so is that what fest beers are then? They're
pretty much.
So these are the best offerings that we know from these great breweries, but they've just amped it up a bit.
Amped it up, turned it up to 6 instead of 5.
And then they're drinking it in massive,
massive mass. Not steins. Steins are stone. Mass are glass. Now, the end of the song. I didn't get to the end of the song. I got distracted by the history of beer, which happens a lot with me. I apologise. But so after you've done Ein Prosit Gemütlichkeit, you go Eins, Zwei, Zuffa, and then you all drink.
Ah, okay.
And that's happening quite frequently.
Yeah.
So I think it just
agitates people, gets them drinking more.
I was going to say, just make sure they keep selling the beer.
So, mate, this is an absolutely cracking beer.
Yeah, so this, spoiler alert, won the blind Oktoberfest taste test I did.
Right.
And also it's the best-selling Oktoberfest beer in the country.
I can see why.
Sorry, not in the UK, in Germany.
In Germany, yeah.
Partly because I think they possibly are the biggest brewery of these 6 as
They
well.
got the volume, right?
Exactly, they've got the volume, they've got the distribution. But it is an absolutely stunning beer.
Isn't it amazing the biggest brewery out of the lot can produce something that incredible? Like, I genuinely think that's bloody fantastic.
German brewers are the best at making great beer at scale. No other nation has achieved what they have in terms of...
It doesn't feel like they haven't scrimped anything, right?
Yeah.
This is pure, wonderful... Like, it's taking me back to a place I've never even been. That's how good that beer is, Johnny.
I hate to interrupt you, but I'm
Prosit,
I'm Prosit, gemütlich.
Forgotten the words.
Beer number 3, beer number 3, gemütlich. So we're pretty cautious in our shoots. You know, we drink most of the beer. We have to save some for like the pours, that kind of thing. We're not currently doing that.
No, we're just downing everything.
Yeah, which I think is a testament to how good the beer is. Beer number 3. So this is Spaten. Spartan are now owned by a very big brewery, which we won't mention their name, but it's sad times. But we have to remember the history of these brands. All of these brands started small, artisan, making amazing, forward-thinking stuff. Spartan of all of them, oh boy, did these guys have an influence on the world.
Yeah. So they invented the style, right?
They invented the Helles.
This is Spartan!
They invented the fridge.
Fuck off. The fridge? Really?
They commissioned the guy that invented compressed gas refrigeration. You know, they up until Spartan went, you know what, this is quite a lot of effort, going out, chipping ice, bringing this ice back to the cave we also chiseled,
the cave.
and letting it melt for the year before going back. They went, you know what, there must be an easier way. And Spartan commissioned a guy that did it. And his name was Mr. Linder.
Ah, Linda.
So, from the people that invented the Helles, we have the most Helles beer. You know, the
Maximum
brightest,
Helles.
lightest.
It's very light.
Of
very
the 6.
light.
It's very pale.
Yeah.
I get lemon, mostly lemon.
It's like a bit of toast, a bit of bread, but like
bread or toast? Come on.
Bread. But like with a
cheap white.
No, not quite.
Hovis white.
Maybe Hovis white.
But not artisan white.
No, maybe
Got to
not.
get our bread reference. No.
Okay. So it's like a cheap white loaf.
And no.
But spread with like a summer meadow. This one I'm not as keen on.
It's not as good, mate. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still very good. Like, don't get me wrong. If I hadn't just drunk that and that, I'd be like, banging.
Well, yeah, you would. But conversely, you know, we always talk about drinkable things being maybe lighter, brighter, have bitterness, but not too much bitterness.
Yeah.
Actually, this one feels a little bit nothingy, a little bit watery. It washes across your palate. These ones felt almost nourishing as you drank them. But this one to me feels most like a Helles. And when I'm drinking an Oktoberfest, I want it to feel A, unique.
Elevated.
But B,
special. An occasion beer.
Right, so this is Lowenbrau.
Yeah, okay.
This is, I have never drunk Lowenbrau at Oktoberfest.
So you give it a swerve.
I've only drunk it in bottles.
It's
so
all
let's
great
give this, again, super pale.
That is bright.
You know, compared to the Paulaner.
Come on.
This one has a bit more complexity to it, I think, compared to the Spartan. A bit of, do you know, I even get a little bit of grapey, tanniny, something a little bit different. Different hop farm, different hop variety, not quite sure, but a hoppy aroma to it, not just like lemon and grass. But none of the malt that's in these first two.
No, not a lot of malt.
Finishes a little bit like a Pilsner. So a Helles, all sweet up front, dies away to not a lot. Incredibly drinkable, but still sweet. You know, that's what's the joy of the Helles. This feels more like a German Pilsner in that it starts with not a lot and builds to a little kind of caramel, bittersweet twang.
Yeah, I'm doing
exactly. Yeah, you're doing your little dolphin noises.
Yeah,
you're like, that's got a kick at the end.
It's got something going on. Yeah, for sure.
So I don't mind the Lowenbrau.
Is it an Oktoberfest beer? Should it be doing that?
I mean, two English guys can't decide what an Oktoberfest beer is technically.
I mean, I've never even been there, so I have no idea. That's why I'm like, this tastes quite different to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice to have some variation.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I think this comes more from the Pilsner, German Pilsner school, and I'm here for it. You know, it's not my favourite. In fact, it's my 4th favourite. But
It's nice to have a distinction between them,
exactly
right?
that. You know, and particularly if I was feeling a bit palate tired, you know, I'm like, oh, this is my 4th session, and some people do multiple sessions. Let's go to the Lowenbrau place because it's a bit crisper, a bit more punchy. It's not just, you know, liquid bread. So in a real Oktoberfest, this would be the moment. Actually, no, we're long past the moment where the rotisserie chicken would arrive. You're on just beer.
Yeah, just beer.
Pretzels and beer.
Yeah.
The chicken should arrive somewhere here.
The big guns are coming out. Yeah. The chicken.
And now we're in danger territory. We're probably thinking about getting on the table at this point. Robbie Williams it hasn't come yet, but you can feel him in the air. Hofbrau are most famous for their incredible bar. It's like the biggest or the oldest or the somethingest.
So this is like an amazing drinking hall in Bavaria.
Exactly, there are songs written about it.
Right.
In München steht ein Hofbräuhaus, ein, zwei, Sofa.
Wow. Man. Do you know what I would love is
For me to stop?
I'd love you to stop for a start. But I'd love David Hasselhoff to like just sort of teleport into your place and sing a song about the Hof.
Yeah, that's a mix-up that if it hasn't happened, has to.
Right.
It could be like, in München steht ein Hof.
Well, he wrote that, he did the song, the Berlin Wall song about I'm searching for freedom or whatever. All of that shit, which is great.
He brought down the Berlin Wall, right? I've got my history right.
Yeah, single-handedly.
That was him.
He had this big hammer.
Yeah.
Like, sort of Thor.
He went, eine Minuten bitte.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Russia.
Yeah.
9.
Can step off.
Yeah, and then he sung a song about how good he was.
Was he waiting for freedom or something? What does he say?
Should we check? It's more tweed than the fall of the Berlin Wall deserves.
I mean, yeah, it's getting back up there.
I get a vague almond marzipan kind of thing from that. Starting it out.
Nice. Yeah, me too. Which is kind of strange. But I'm there for it, maybe, I think.
I'd enjoy it if there was a bit of bitterness. There's not a huge amount of bitterness
Doesn't
there.
cyanide taste like almonds or something? Or have I imagined that?
Do you know, I remember liking this beer at Oktoberfest.
Go on.
And I'm
Go
a
on,
bit,
Pockets.
I'm
Tell
a
me.
bit meh.
You're a bit meh. I'm only envious because I haven't got any pockets right now. Yeah,
You got one there?
I've got 2 up here. These are too high though, so I can't really do this.
So what does a fisherman do with those pockets?
I put my mackerels in them. They really smell bad. I just walk around like this. I just go.
If they're big enough mackerels, every time you turn to the left or the right, you get slapped by a mackerel.
Yeah,
a slap-prel.
Slap-prel. Kissed by a mackerel in the face.
Wait, so seal...
Yeah.
Originally it was about mackerels.
Yeah.
But they're like, you know what, maybe a rose is more romantic. Seal.
Yeah, seal was actually a sea creature who eats mackerels. But they said, well, you know, they're a bit divisive. Roses...
So we're going to drink our final beer.
Mate, I am so pumped to drink this because it's from my favourite brewery, German brewery, my favourite beer from them, but it's like an amped up version, and I've never drunk it.
Yeah.
And the label looks like sort of 90s clip art as well.
It's a bit
very
nothing.
much pixelated.
But so this is very hard to get hold of. They don't really
Yeah.
sell it, I think, outside of Munich, maybe Bavaria, and it is an amped up version. So these guys invented the modern Oktoberfest beer. So it was called, I think, so Edelstoff is their export strength lager, their souped up hellers. This was originally called the Weizen Edelstoff. So the Weizen is like the colloquial local term for Oktoberfest because that's where it happens. So this was originally brewed for Oktoberfest. I guess they thought, you know what, people want something a little bit easier drinking than a Märzen.
Yeah.
So we're going to give them it. Very, very pale. As always with Augustiner, slightly lower carbonation than all of the other beers made in Munich.
Not a bad thing, though.
But you're not going to miss it on the palate because it's so full-bodied and delicious.
Look at the head on that.
Yeah. It's got that thing It's got like, is it a hint of sulphur? Is it a hint of like hoppy dankness? It's got something a bit, a little bit naughty to it.
Exactly.
Like the Augustiner Helles has.
It's a bit erogenous.
Right? Is that the word you mean? I hope this lives up to the hype that's in your head. I love that we're hyped about lager. Everyone should get hyped about great lager. And this is, in my opinion, a very great lager. Prost.
Prost. Yeah.
A lingering, smooth, slightly almondy finish as well.
Yeah. What's going on with the
Lots
almonds?
of grainy breadness. You wouldn't know that's 6.3%, would you?
No. I mean, that's a crispy boy if ever.
It's honey
met
on
one.
toast, and it's just unreal. Can you imagine that from an oak cask with a big foamy head, in a big mass with rotisserie chicken?
Take me there.
There's fir trees and there's gold and there's red and there's green all around you.
The tent is
The beautiful sounds of somebody doing Robbie Williams but not being Robbie Williams.
that's better, I reckon.
It's a wonderful beer, and I think, it's a toss-up. I think probably these two are the best for me. What do you think?
Do you know what? I really like the Hacker. I really like the Hacker.
You really like the little bit more depth and maltiness.
Yeah. The difference for me was abundant.
So Bradley, I haven't taken you to Oktoberfest yet.
Not
We
yet.
will. Maybe next year we will.
We'll dance.
But we do now know that when we do go,
Yeah.
we're going to go to this tent and we're going to go to this tent. And if we have time, we're going to go to this tent.
Boom.
At the same time, we're probably going to drink these 3 beers either on the day or elsewhere because they're all stellar.
They're amazing. They're all 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10, like you said.
Yeah.
/ 9 out of 10.
And we now understand, I think, that Ein Prosit is a powerful phrase and you shouldn't throw it around willy-nilly. So basically on that note, Ein Prosit, Ein Prosit, Gemütlichkeit. Ein Prosit, Gemütlichkeit.